All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back yet again for another Walking Dead Dead City spoiler discussion. I'm here with Eris. We are about to give you guys the nitty gritty, the lowdown on this episode. This is another banger. I'll give Eris credit. He's 5 for 5. I don't know if it's going to end on a bang, but I'm going to ask you a real weird question that you can't answer.
So why ask it if I can't answer it?
Because I want to just see your body language and see how you react to how I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
The way that this is going, I can't believe that this is not going to be a multiple season. Like, how does this fundamentally work to round up in a miniseries format at this point? If the last episode, the 6th episode, is it? Just one body language. That's all.
No. Best way I can answer that question is very simple. Do you really think, like in your heart of hearts, your like in your mind, your honest mind, do you really think that it's just going to be these 6 episodes?
So my theory is that this is going to lead into another series or another attachment series, because the reason why I say that is they brought in a character, like they're introduced a character that's never even been seen before, and I was like, this is so late in the game. You don't introduce brand new players, into a series without there being a motive. There's a reason why you bring in a character like that. And when the creation kind of is like, oh wait, the creation is still taking orders from somebody. What the heck is this craziness? So
come on. It's the 5th episode. It's the 5th episode out of 6 episodes, and we're introduced to a new character. Right. That right there is a dead giveaway that this is not going to be just a one-off thing.
Yeah, and I think the sad thing is this is actually a really good series. I mean, I don't necessarily want it to be a one-off, but we've seen series before attempt to finish everything in less than 6 days. Like talk the DMZ, I think the name of it on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
They did that joint in one season, and that was it. And it just was very lackluster. They rounded it up really quickly, and I just don't want to see this fall to that. But I was curious. We can move forward.
Unless AMC comes out and says some goofy madness like oh, Dead City's getting canceled, then yeah, it would definitely ruin it. But no, they've been going really strong with this first season so far, and I really believe that by the time we get to the 6th episode, we're just gonna get not so much a final episode of the season, but an episode that's going to lead us into the following season. I really think that this is just the beginning.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing that I was going to say is that, I mean, you guys, this may lead into, I don't know, another series. This may lead into like Rick's series or something like that. I don't know. I just know that I'm liking what I'm seeing. And the thing that was fascinating in this episode is watching the Marshall and Negan work together.
Mm-hmm.
Because
took him a minute.
Right. We've seen Negan playfully kill people for less than what he's. So this is a very different Negan. So I think the sentiment when he said, "You don't know who I really am. You have no idea," and it's just fascinating to see him. I guess in his own words, he's like, I hate leaving people to die.
Well, people are a resource.
True.
As he once said.
True. But yeah, I mean, I think even him, bringing up like what happened to his wife, even though I was like, Lucille been dead. So I was like, oh,
not her.
Yeah.
Sam, watch the final season.
I don't have time. We're going to Comic-Con, okay?
I am 5 episodes into telling this guy, watch the final season.
Anyway,
it would make so much stuff of this show make sense for you if you just watch the final season.
Anyway, Negan has another wife. my assumption, and she's the one that got assaulted, leading to Negan killing these men effectively. So it makes sense. I mean, the man went through trauma with his own, even though I hadn't technically seen that episode. But anywho, it was a very good scene and interaction between the Marshal and Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is killing the game, and then also the actor playing the role of the Marshal. It was really interesting, like hearing him talk about his brother, and kind of where his anger stems from. I thought that was a really interesting touch. We haven't gotten stuff like that since like the earlier seasons of Walking Dead. Um,
Yeah, that's some season 1 stuff right there.
so I really appreciate, I guess, his character development. They're really rounding Negan out as a character, but at the same time, everything around him is getting a good amount of love as well. It's very fascinating.
I would like to say that they're taking the character of Negan from the comic of what was it, the Negan Lives comic,
Hmm.
and just continuing it with the show, because as of God, how long has it been? Like almost 4 years since that comic came out. I'm, I was thinking that we were going to get a continuation of that comic, and I think it's just living on through through these random series.
Mm. That makes sense because I mean you can give Negan his own show. I mean he's good enough a character to do that, but I think this is so much more fascinating because you're pairing him with somebody that has every reason to betray him, every reason to want him dead.
Mhm.
And I guess Easons I haven't even foreseen yet because I haven't seen the end of the season, but it just makes it so much more enticing to watch him paired with Maggie, just because. But
I agree.
so what are some of the things you felt like good highlights of this episode?
Greatest highlight ever. The Thing Walker. um,
This
no,
man
seriously.
said,
No, seriously. It was something out of The Thing, and I love that moment because I'm like, thank you, Walking Dead. Thank you for giving us something that we have, I mean, that we very seldom see, is when you guys get creative with the walkers. You know, I'm gonna say this: the last time that they got creative with walkers was, I'm gonna say, a episode in the 11th season. In the final season, there was a episode that that they got creative, and I'm like, where were these walkers? And I like to call them variant walkers. Like variant walkers, where, again, not spoiling anything for you, Sam, but variant walkers, let's just say they're different, and you see a lot more of that in Fear Walking Dead, and especially in the later seasons. Oh, the creativity is on a whole other level compared to the main show. Now, with this one, with this one being in the sewer, I'm like, yes. What happens when you get one walker that like smashed into another walker, that smashed into another walker, and smashed into another walker? You get this mess. You get this nightmare fuel here. And again, it was like that final scene from The Thing. Like, okay, we got walkers coming out of a walker with another walker coming out of that walker.
I was like, what the army of darkness is going on here?
I was,
Because
and I was like, this is great. I hate the fact that they got taken out so easily, because again, it's just a walking pile of walkers, and yeah, you just aim for the head, stab it, it's dead,
yeah, I
or
mean,
all of them in this case.
let's be real though. Most would have probably died. Um, like anybody else would have probably died in this situation.
I agree. How in the world Maggie got out of that situation without a scratch, besides plot armor, character development, and yeah, you're the main, you're one of the main characters. I mean, I get it. But for some reason, Carl, he gets bit by a freaking ninja walker on the corner while trying to hold off one walker. The
That
other one
Walking
just
Dead
snuck
contract,
in.
that
Bro,
contract, man.
that's what that, that's what that off-screen walker was. That was the contract coming in and biting him. Like, yeah, that was Scott Gimple saying, "You're out of here, kid." Like, wait, what? I just said I'm going to college. Like, I can still do this show. Nah, dog. We getting rid of you. But no. But no, with Maggie just getting out of that situation, like, okay, I've been I've been through this. Like I've been through this before, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take care of this ASAP. And speaking
Basically.
of taking care of stuff, let me fix my camera real quick.
Are you good?
Yeah, continue.
Nah, I mean, well, there were certain scenes with them being in the sewer that reminded me of a dope horror movie called The Descent, where these girls like are stuck in a cave, like,
Right.
and like all these creatures are coming out every. Because the thing about it is, one, they're dealing with the methane gas, like, and it's a sewer, and it's riddled with dead people, and you never know if any of those bodies are going to be.
Well, not just any dead people, but the dead people that the Crow had used to make his gas.
True. Right. I didn't think about that.
Like, what happens to all the dead people once he's used up? Like, once he used up all the dead people to make all the gas he needs, he just dumps them.
That's crazy. I didn't think about that. But it makes for a really good situation that you're like, I don't think any of them are gonna make it out. Now, when you were watching it, did you think that the couple was gonna make it out of this episode alive? Realistically?
I'm gonna keep it real with you, because this is because it's the 5th episode out of the 6, and because I also knew that this is supposed to be a mini series, if you will. People aren't going to make it, considering that whole team of them folks got pieced out in one hit.
One episode,
like,
bro.
Like legit, one episode we saw an entire crew of people just get washed.
Yeah.
Now, would it make sense? Oh yeah, it was poetic as hell for the both of them to go out in the sewer. It's like we find out that, oh, this guy sold us out. I'm like, well, now that he's been found out, the only thing left to do is kill him. Right. Even if he does make good, I'm not gonna say that we haven't had time, but the show hasn't necessarily paced itself in a way to make you fully care about him.
Right.
Like between him and and Amaya, I understand that the couple, they're trying to have a family, they're looking for someplace safe, and you found out the reason why he did it, whatever it takes, make it, you gotta make it safe for the fam and all that. And I'm like, but bro, you just had to go about it like this. Instead of talking with the people that you were making plans with, you could have just said, hey, let me pull you over to the side real quick. Sidebar. Right. Hey, Maggie, Negan, here's what's gonna go down. When this happens, all y'all just go over there. Unfortunately, I gotta sacrifice my people. My girl is pregnant. It's a plan. I know you guys have a plan, but here's another plan.
Yeah.
And when he mentioned a place that the Croat knew about, that was like, it was all made out of brick, and it was all made out of brick, and it seemed like a safe place. Where
houses and stuff,
where you could raise a family. Did your mind go to the same place I went? Did you think that he was talking about Alexandria?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was kind of like, so the master plan of the person that is over the creation, it seems, is to attack Alexandria.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're talking about attacking Alexandria, or if they've already scouted Alexandria out and are just gonna wash it. I mean, but that's kind of what it seems like they're trying to move. Yeah, that's immediately what I thought about.
Because Hilltop, I'm not gonna say Hilltop is now pretty much in Jersey, but old Hilltop, aka Barrington House, that spot is pretty much kaput. It's a wrap. And Oceanside, I think the same thing happened with them too. Like, they ended up moving.
Yeah, Oceanside definitely. I remember Oceanside moving before I stopped watching the show. Now, I was going to ask you about a scene when Maggie, as soon as the guy was seeing, he was like, he had the tanks out. Were you thinking at one point, first time watching this, that Maggie was contemplating killing both him and Amaya to keep the tanks herself? Or do you think that she technically, in a way, manipulated the situation with the truth?
I think she just
at odds.
she manipulated the situation because when she decided, hey, let's take the sewers as our only escape out of here, which it really was. They were definitely in between a rock and a hard place with
Right.
no other alternative. Not to mention the sewers was the route that he said it was the route that I took when I tried to escape.
Right.
And so they were going to go down that route regardless. Now, do I think that she was going to kill him and take the tanks? No, especially not after he pretty much poured his heart out and said, hey, you do what you got to do to make it safe, pretty much implying that Amaya was pregnant. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now it's like Maggie kind of understands, like, okay, now I get why he did it. And I don't want to say it, but in a way I get why Negan does the things that he does. That's what Maggie's thinking.
Right.
So she's really like at odds with herself. So I don't think that she was of the mind of killing him and taking the oxygen tanks, because you saw her go through that entire episode not even attempting to even take it when it was offered to her.
Look, and I'm gonna say this respectfully.
Maggie being Maggie. Maggie being Maggie. It's Maggie being Maggie.
Like it's kind of like if you're gonna sit there and give the girl the oxygen tank and you're not worried about germs, you're not worried about her potentially turning from the gas tanks, why wouldn't you take what reason does she have to not put the oxygen on? Like that there's a level of stubbornness, but then there's a level of stupidity. And this to me was dumb. Like I think it worked as far as how they wanted the show to have these flashbacks, her going weaving in and out of consciousness and making it more, it made it way more unrealistic, her being able to fight that thing off with all that methane gas exposure, but whatever. But let's be real here. Why wouldn't she have taken it? Especially after both of them died. Like after they both died, I was like, oh, okay, she's gonna finally use the tank. She decided not to use it. I thought that was idiotic to me.
Well, at this point, they pretty much made it to the end of that tunnel. Like they made it through the worst of it, so it wasn't necessarily needed anymore.
Yeah, and
except
also,
except coming across Thing Walker.
Also, like Amaya, I don't think I saw her. I don't remember her using the oxygen tank at all, and her tail was pregnant. And I was kind of confused. I feel like that was the only negative I had of this episode, is that why didn't Maggie use the oxygen tank? But then more than that, like why didn't I see the pregnant woman using it, or seemingly seemed like she was getting affected by the methane gas? I thought that was so.
The only person that was really affected by it was Maggie, because we saw her tripping balls, and I mean, she was tripping.
Yeah,
but I mean, and then on top of that, we saw her like literally like pass out, because the gas finally kicked in and started hitting her with it. But no, I mean, everybody else was cool except her.
It's weird. Like I did not see Amaya use it. But anyway, this is a good segue, because in the flashbacks that Maggie had, now we get the truth that the Croatian definitely did take Herschel, but he presented her with the wanted sign for Negan. And so this whole entire expedition isn't about getting to the Croatian to get Herschel back. It's about bringing Negan to the Croatian. Mm-hmm. So it's the ultimate betrayal.
I mean, and it's kind of a betrayal that you see coming, because as much as Maggie has been swallowing it of dealing with Negan, working with him, putting up with him more to the point, and she knows that I'm fighting back every fiber of my being to not stab this guy in the neck and be done with it. Yeah. But I kind of saw it coming a mile away. She had an ulterior motive. Like, oh, you're going to come at Negan with the whole, I need you to help me get my son. The Croat has my son, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you happen to know him. Okay, cool. Let's use that information. Let's figure out how he thinks. Let's bring some innocent folks that have been hiding underground this whole time trying to avoid the Croat, and let's get them killed in the process.
Got them all killed.
Just get them all wiped out for the sake of me getting my son back. And because I know you have a weakness you know, you like the only thing, the only shred left of a sign that you were once a human being in my eyes is that you have a weakness for children.
Kids. Yep. Sure does.
You know,
Absolutely does.
like you had the highest respect for Carl and was that close to ending the war because of Carl.
He was.
But, you know, and then there was that family. Did you see the? I think it was like back in season 9ish or like I think it was like 9ish or 10ish of the main show where he meets that family. Well, you good?
Yeah, I'm fine. Continue.
Like it wasn't a family. Sorry, it was a mother and her son, and her son reminded him of Carl so much that, you know, he was trying to do whatever it took to keep them alive and bring them back to Alexandria because they were good people. But then there was this guy, I think his name was Brandon, who followed Negan and wanted to be so much like Negan of the Sanctuary days from the All Out War saga. You know, he got him a jacket, got him a Lucille, I guess, and he ended up killing the mother and child, and that's what led Negan to kill him and make his way towards the Whisperers.
I didn't even see that. So I guess I gotta watch more.
Wait a minute. I thought you said the last time you finished Walking Dead was season 10.
I did. I didn't finish all season 10.
Oh, Jesus, Sam. What? This is why I gotta work with people.
I'm about to just sit here and eat my cake.
I gotta work with people that never even watched that never even finished the whole doggone main show.
Anyway, which is fascinating because
y'all pray for him, please.
Like it goes back to what Negan said. Like there are no good people here because the truth of the matter is he just got done killing the black dude, and they were kind of like, "Oh, I don't know what happened to him. He's okay." Maggie know goodness well that Negan killed that man. She knows, but she wouldn't tell them because it would compromise her situation. And it goes back to, I think, when she was talking to the girl, she was like, "Please, we don't need to tell Negan because he'll go and take you back. I don't want that to happen." And that's what we said last week.
But at the same time, she wanted the little girl Jenny to go back to New Hilltop, go back to Bricks. Like, but you don't want to tell Negan because, I mean, what, you think that he's gonna stop the plan from going, like, from continuing? I mean, this plan has pretty much been screwed since Jump Street. Now that everybody's dead.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that he may cut his losses, being like, I need to get her back and keep her safe. I would see him doing that.
Say, look, we'll figure it out.
But I'm gonna be honest, I really truly thought, like, you know, Maggie, like, legit was put in a situation where she had to depend on Negan because he knows this guy. Like, it fooled me. Like, this episode kind of threw me off because I was like, dang, like, she set this man up. She set all this up. I didn't see that. But it makes so much more sense why she hasn't killed him yet. And even more sense why she's been dealing with so much guilt the whole entire season. But yeah, this is a really good episode. Yeah,
it was a great episode.
It was pretty insane.
This one in particular was my favorite episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I would say if we didn't have one more episode, and if this episode, you know, didn't exist, then episode 4 was going to be my favorite. But this one is definitely my favorite. Now that you've seen it, I'm going to say episode 5 is my favorite episode.
No, that makes sense. I thought it was really good as well. Now, I don't know who did this craziness.
I'm not going to ask. That looked like episode 1 of the Chucky series.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I don't know who. I think that was the person that killed himself, but I was like, I don't know what was going on with that. That was really creepy.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking of which, talk about people that off themselves. How about the inventive way my man had a pull string? I really want to know what direction was that axe coming from that just clean cut.
Right.
When they
That
went,
joint.
like when the Marshall and Negan were inside that abandoned, it might have been a school or something. When they went in that abandoned school and they went in that room and Negan was like, "Oh God, yeah, this is definitely an after situation."
Right. Like that was such an elaborate setup of his own death. Yeah, that was a little rough to see. But I do have a question though. Like
Mm-hmm.
this whole entire time, like it was like I thought the Croatian was running things, and you find out the Croatian is still
Yes.
following people.
Yep. Still got
And
somebody to answer to.
and I I don't know this woman for a hill of beans. From the looks of it, she's running everything. Um, but she almost seems like a shadow. It's so weird. Part of me kind of was wondering, like, is this in his mind? But no, like this is a whole nother individual
Yeah.
that has overhead that wants Negan to help run how this is all gonna go. Um, but I don't know for what purpose. I think that's the thing that's so weird to me, and she's just there. How did that make you feel? Like that the Croatian is a follower as opposed to like the head leader?
When I saw that, he had somebody to report to, I said to myself, "Well, of course he does." You really think that he just, got his ear blown off, ran with his tail between his legs, and just hightailed it up to New York and just decided to take over all of Manhattan by himself? As cool, as interesting of a character as he is, he ain't Negan. He might have learned from Negan, but not enough to do all of that.
But he is very intelligent. Like
He is
he's very sick, manipulative, intense.
thorough as hell. I will give him that. But at the same time, sir, you are not Negan.
It's just so weak. This is the thing I'm gonna say. This might be a knock, but it's weird to me that when he's in his element with the people that are under him, like he seems like a completely different person because even right here, he's not shying away from like his ear situation. Like he
No, he's
didn't
not.
cover it up, the whole entire time. He kind of looked like he owned his scar, so to speak.
Yep.
But then when he got to their area, he had to have like this little scully over to cover it up. And I'm like, I don't know. It's just weird because in one episode they made him like a completely different individual. And I'm curious to see when he does go back if he'll keep that same as that Scully or he's back in his element. It's so weird to me.
That's why I said there's no way that they're going to end this show. They're going to tie up everything in one simple episode. It's impossible.
I agree. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And according to the indicators that I've seen, the episode 6 is not like the other Walking Dead season finales where it's like almost 2 hours long, hour and a half or whatever. And I'm like, this is a simple 1 hour episode.
So was this supposed to be like a movie initially, and then it turned into this, or was this always like a season series?
This was always a series. There was never any talks of Dead City being a movie. Matter of fact, when we were at Comic-Con when they dropped this, and they said we have a new series, which is Dead City. They didn't mention Daryl's. They didn't mention Daryl's show until midway through season 11. That's when they mentioned it was supposed to be the Daryl and Carol show. And of course, we had the pipe bomb, which was both Andrew Lincoln and Denai showing up at freaking Hall H last year and announcing the miniseries of Rick and Michonne. Universal or AMC, whichever one, like whoever it was, came to the table and just pulled the plug on the whole 3 Rick movies and just said, look, we're going to do a 6-episode miniseries and we are calling it a day. Because again, I have already asked this question so many times on, in previous podcasts. How can you really do 2 hours, 3 2-hour Rick movies? What story is there to tell?
I don't know, but all I know is I'm gonna stop this because I need to look at the next episode and finish this right now. That's all I know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our open discussion about episode 5. We will have episode 6 released out on Thursday. We will be at San Diego Comic-Con. Go and make sure you follow Three Black Geeks because there's gonna be coverage there. There's of course gonna be coverage on JVS as well. Of all of our crazy San Diego Comic Con shenanigans. So stay tuned for that.
It's gonna be fun.
And yeah, we'll be back with our final review on Thursday. All right. Peace, people. Filing out the top of